Hello, it's Tracy Farquhar here with this week's tarot reading. Today is March 18th, and this is for the week ahead, both for you as an individual and for all of us as a collective. So, as usual, I pulled four cards. The first three represent past, present, and future. The fourth card is the card that wraps up the whole reading. The first thing I notice about this reading is that it's a very feminine one. There's a lot of feminine energy in these cards. And to me, the feminine energy is very much connected to our higher senses, our feeling self, our emotional self. And so keep that in mind as we go through these cards. The first card in the past position is the Nine of Pentacles, which looks like this in my deck. You can see that it's represented by a woman who looks like she's in her 9th month of pregnancy. So the word on the card is accomplishment. And as I said, it's coming up in the past. So when you think about that 9th month of pregnancy, it's a time where something is about to come into existence. It is a time where we are often very impatient. And if you have been in your 9th month of pregnancy, you know that it's a very long time, even if it's only a few weeks before you actually give birth. It can be a very uncomfortable time. It can be a time where you're questioning why you did this in the first place. So I think that all of those kind of messages apply really well to the meaning of this card. It's really encouraging patience, and it's encouraging a focus on the intended outcome. When you're going through difficult times, when you're going through some struggles, it seems like that's all there is difficulty and struggles. But the truth is, on the other side of that is probably something much better for you. Something that you have been working toward. And to me, this card is saying that reward is imminent. Okay, it's something that's going to show up soon. And this feeling of discomfort and trial and tribulation is temporary, as it always is for us. So it's encouraging that focus on the good that can come out of patience and awareness and focus. If all you're seeing is what's wrong, that will appear to be all there is. But there is always the potential for something better. We need to be aware of what's wrong and what's not working so that we can take action on it. But we don't need to focus on it as our 24/7 view. The second card in my deck, it's called the Papess. In most decks, she's the High Priestess. So this is the most spiritual card you can get in the tarot. Again, a very feminine energy card coming up in the present. And I think it really kind of reiterates the first message in this sense of utilizing what you know about yourself in a spiritual way, what you know about reality and our existence here. Spirituality it isn't necessarily religion, but it is a sense of us being higher forms of energy than we are necessarily aware of. It is a belief in a higher power. It is a belief that we are here to have an experience that can benefit the spiritual nature of us, which is our soul, our spirit. And I think it's really asking us to utilize whatever we believe about spirituality to help us through this time right now. And again, as I said, this can apply to you individually, and it can apply to us as a collective. It's also asking you to pay attention to any kind of intuitive information that you may be receiving right now, any kind of signs, signals, synchronicities that are showing up. Because that's another part, I believe, of having a spiritual nature about life. We can more easily see meaning in things that can normally seem kind of mundane. But we get a sense when some sign or signal or synchronicity is helping us or giving us some sense of comfort or guidance. So again, this feminine nature of these two cards, encouraging patience, encouraging this kind of higher awareness and higher knowledge that will help us through the difficult times, listening to ourselves and our inner voice and paying attention to what we believe is possible and what we have already experienced, remembering those experiences where we may have felt frustration, despair, hopelessness. What happened after that? Did we see things turn around? Did something unexpected turn up? Did we start to feel a sense of intuition which was guiding us in a certain way? So it's just, to me, these cards are saying be patient and pay attention, pretty much. The third card is the Eight of Cups. This is the future card, not necessarily a predictive card, even though it's showing up in the future. Cups is the suit of the emotional self, the feeling self. Again, there's that kind of feminine nature in that suit. The word on the card in my deck is loss. And I believe this card is reminding us that in order to evolve, to change, to move forward, we often have to let go of some things. Those things can be certain beliefs, they can be material things, they can be relationships, and that's never easy for us. Even when we know those things have run their course, that they're not in alignment with us anymore, that they're not serving our higher good, it can still be difficult to let go of the things that are familiar to us, especially if they have become sort of habits in our life. But it is a necessary thing. You know, we can't experience growth without letting go of those things that restrict our growth, that hold us back. And again, a lot of times those are beliefs and the ways that we think about things and the things that we think are possible and how limited those possibilities can be. So if you're feeling in your own personal life any sense of, again, impatience, that sense of being stuck, not seeing progress in your life, that High Priestess Papess card and this Eight of Cups, you know, they're both asking you to pay attention, to really look inward to see if there's something in the way that you are focusing and thinking that may be contributing to that feeling of being stuck. And be willing to kind of think outside of that, look outside of the norm, look outside of some of the beliefs that you may not even realize are restricting you. Be willing to be open to the things that you can't imagine right now. The final card that sums up the whole reading, again, is an extremely feminine card, and it's the Queen of Cups. So again, we have cups, which again is associated with our feeling selves. Queen is very powerful feminine energy. To me, this whole reading is all about the divine feminine. And so it doesn't just apply to women. Okay, we all have the divine feminine and the divine masculine within us. They're both important powers in ourselves, in the world. To me, this reading is really focusing on the divine feminine, which again is connected to our heart wisdom, our higher wisdom, our intuitive selves, our feelings, and our emotions. And it's really calling on us to honor that part of ourselves. Again, applies to men as well. Are you getting so caught up in your head and your thoughts and your fears and your need to be strong that you are ignoring your feelings, your emotions, and your intuitive guidance system? It's time to really look at that and see where you can shift that. It's very easy for us humans to get totally immersed in our thoughts, in what we believe to be the only reality for us. And yes, we do have to do that to a certain degree. We need to know what's going on. We need to be thoughtful and intellectual. But to me, this whole reading is saying not at the expense of ignoring your higher self, your spiritual wisdom, your intuitive wisdom. So it's a balance rather than forget the intellectual self and rely only on the spiritual self. To me, as humans, we're both. And both of those parts of us are intertwined. So I would say for the week ahead, pay attention to your intuition, pay attention to where you may be getting stuck in your head and your thoughts, where you're churning and churning those thoughts, where you're making up a reality that may not even really exist. See if you can do a little meditation, find some quiet time to go inward, maybe do a little journaling, stream of consciousness writing, something that really helps you to get to that more peaceful, intuitive place. Call on your guides, your loved ones in spirit, for some guidance, for some comfort, and know that they will answer whether you're intellectually aware of it or not. I hope that was helpful for you and that you will like this video and subscribe. And you can always find all the details about everything else that I offer on my website, tracyfarquhar.com. Thanks for tuning in, and I'll see you next week. Bye.